Hello there. It's another opportunity to get into the corridors of power. And today we're going to be having an interaction with, yes, a young man too, heading an agency that works for young people. My name is Benjamin Akako. This is the AM show. Now, he has been at post for close to a year now. It's just a few weeks away, and then he would have been at post for a year. He's a bit of a journalist, if you like. He calls himself a veteran journalist, though I have issues with that. But without further ado, let me introduce our guest for today. He's the person of Mr. Kofi Agyapong. And guess what? He is CEO of the Youth Employment Agency. He joins us for a conversation. Mr. Agyapong, this one, air handshake. Atubam. Thanks for allowing us to get into your space today.
Thank you. You said corridors of power?
And I said, you're in a day. You're kind of saying corridors of power.
You have the power.
The fourth estate. We'll get there.
You're very powerful. You know that.
Oh, definitely.
I have been there before, and I know how powerful you are.
I nearly said something, but I'll leave it for later. But let's just get to know you a bit. I'm sure there are some people out there who don't even know that you're heading this mammoth agency here in terms of the youth. Who is Mr. Kofi Agyapong? Just tell us a little bit about you, and how did you make that segue, that transition from journalism into this space, heading the YEA?
Thank you very much, my brother. Who is Kofi Agyapong? Kofi Agyapong is right in front of you. I started as a journalist, worked for the Accra Daily Mail. I also did some international jobs for the West African Democracy Radio, and I also wrote for the Dom Balloon magazine, and also during I think the first World Cup Ghana participated. I also was a writer for the Guardian newspaper. So I've been doing journalism. I did journalism for closely 9 to 10 years.
Okay, 9 to 10 years. And already you seem to be hanging your boots.
I still.
So once
on WordPress. I see. I sometimes love to put my thoughts on paper. It's exciting, and you can't leave writing.
That's an interesting bit. He's a trained journalist, and of course now he has transitioned. You've moved on. You've also been a deputy communications
yes.
officer.
Yes,
with the MPP. In fact, your profile states that you were the longest-serving deputy communications officer.
I think from 2009, I joined the communication team of the party. 2009 till I moved to the presidency, 2021.
What was that experience like, especially coming from your background?
You know, it's challenging. Journalism, you have so much power. Like, you sit down, you can ask me any question you think you need answers to, and I just have to provide it for our viewers, our listeners, the Ghanaian populace. And it's journalism. I mean, it's like you are the god on earth.
Hey.
Oh yes. I mean, when I used to write,
maybe it depends on the country.
No.
Because you know, there's this popular saying that freedom of speech is guaranteed, but in some places, freedom after speech is what is not guaranteed.
I'm telling you, Ghanaians. I mean, journalism. I've been in before. We write whatever we want to write, and we go scot-free.
I see.
I mean, we add sensationalism to everything that we write. I wrote for Accra Daily Mail for years. I know. I've studied the media landscape for years.
Were you sensationalizing too?
I'm telling you, because we have to sell our stories.
Okay.
Now adverts are not coming. So you have to sell your stories, and the headlines will sell the stories for you. You You know it better than I do.
Well, I mean, with the print media, it's another ball game. Sometimes it's trickier on television. You know, for us, the English language stations, it's quite a tightrope we have to walk.
It's the same, my brother.
It's quite a tightrope we have to walk.
It's the same. I mean, and it's good that we are enjoying this space. I mean, journalists in the country, the press freedom is amazing. One thing I loved about the media is no court of competent jurisdiction can force you to reveal your source. You understand? So, I mean,
even if your source has led you to some $1 million that have been stolen.
But I think that is an exciting profession. You have so much power, and the country also gives you that extra leverage to do what you want. I think the media in Ghana the landscape is good. It's free. I mean, as compared to what we read from other countries, I think Ghanaian journalists are comfortable.
Why do you think then, I mean, I'm just going a bit on the general before we narrow in on the YEA and what you do here. Why do you think then that our ratings have been falling over time? The Global Peace Index, when it comes to journalism and the practice of it and all of that. Why do you feel our ranking keeps plummeting in that regard?
Well, I don't believe in that. I think that is the sensational or sensationalism that we add to the things we say or report in this country.
What happened to Ahmed Hussein Swale was not sensational. Till now, we've not resolved the matter.
No. I'm not going to that. And I think it's something that I wouldn't even like to talk about it because it's shameful and very sad. I mean, it's a family man. It can happen to everyone. But we shouldn't also make it look like journalists are under threat in this country. No. Yes, we have few isolated cases. I mean, which I will not sit here to defend. But we shouldn't also create this whole atmosphere of Oswald M. Charlie's Nightfall in Soweto.
I see. So for you, it is the sensationalism, people going over the top and creating a certain narrative. That is what is making our rankings plummet.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. I'll come back to other current affairs related matters, but let's talk about your mandate at the Youth Employment Agency. You've been here for close to a year. That's a long time. First off, what is the mandate of the YEA? And within this year, what would you say are some of the stark challenges you've had to face? And again, some of the positives on the back of this near 366-day cycle you've had.
Okay, thank you. The mandate of the Youth Employment Agency is simple: to create jobs.
Right.
Facilitate, coordinate, supervise the creation of jobs. So everything about the Youth Employment Agency has to do with job creation.
Primarily for the youth,
yes,
right?
For the youth.
I think your website says 15 to 35
yes,
or something.
for the youth. So that is what we've been doing. For let's say, for the past 1 year, I would say that's 1 year. It's been, I mean, the challenging aspect is the unemployment in the country. I can give you statistics. I mean, we started with 15,000 community police assistants. We did 6,000 community health assistants. We've done 1,500 prison assistants. We've had collaborations with the private sector, other private entities, institutions. But I tell you, my brother, when we open our portal, the number of young people who apply for our programs is alarming. That is the challenge.
Of course, that itself
yes, that is the
paints a certain picture,
yes,
right?
Yes, it paints a certain picture, and to me, is a challenge here at the Youth Employment Agency. You open the portal to recruit 15,000 community police assistants, and you get over 90,000 applicants. I mean,
wow, that's in excess of about 75,000.
Yes, it's challenging. It's quite challenging.
How then are you able to sift through and, I mean, in these drives, for example, like you mentioned, so 15,000 community police or protection, community protection assistants, the CPAs,
yes,
for example. If you try to recruit 15,000 and you get 90,000, how are you able to, what metrics do you use, for example? Because this is where, out there, in the court of public opinion, they say, oh, a party for.
There's no party.
I mean, or party card, or say, and then a card-bearing member gets
no, it's the same
What are the
thing.
dynamics?
It's the same thing. This is the LIA of the Youth Employment Agency. It gives you the steps to take when it comes to recruitment. First, you publish it. After, you should make sure that it's district-based. I mean, gender balance and others. We take all these things into consideration. So it's not that you don't apply and you can be, no. Auditors can pick you up because this is what the LI says and it's there.
Okay, but
we open
again,
it and people apply online.
That's fine. But to take it a step further, it could be a party person. The person does apply. I mean, at least apply, show face. They go through the internet processes and all of that. Do you have a quota system where at some point maybe there's an application and all of that, but the party requires a certain quotient or something?
No,
is that something?
No, my brother, no. I mean, you see, let me tell you something. All employment knows no barrier.
True.
It doesn't know a political party. It doesn't know MPP, NDC, CPP. I tell you, we try to politicize everything in this country. When somebody is unemployed and he takes a gun and comes to you, the person doesn't care whether you are MPP or NDC.
True.
The person wants to get something to eat. And that is why we are here. We make sure that there's regional balance, there's district balance, gender, and make sure that the right selection process is adhered to. This is what we do here. And for the past almost a year now, we've been doing for all our models. You can contact the private entities or institutions we have collaborations with. They will tell you this is the same thing we tell them.
And it's refreshing to hear that is the case. Some of the questions I am posing are just to reflect public sentiment and what
I agree.
From outside about what you do internally.
It's a government
it is also
agency.
An opportunity for you to tell the masses.
I get you.
So you're telling me the entire process is that transparent, like you were making mention of. So you take cognizance of regional balance, gender balance, district balance.
Yes.
So walk us through a bit of the process that an applicant would go through online. And of course, the more you take away the human interface, the more transparent it is. So walk us through what the process is.
So you go online, you put your name there, the district you are coming from or the district you are in, the region, your age, and the qualification, maybe SHS or maybe university, you put it there, and the model you are applying to. That's all. Yes, you don't pay a dime. Everything about YEA application is free. And the interesting thing is, after you've gone through the process and you've been selected, the training you get is free. The accommodation, food, everything is free.
I see.
Yes.
That's an interesting dynamic. Within this period, this last year, we'll get into the numbers and how many people you've been able to actually train. But let's stay right there. How many people, how many young people between 15 and 35 have passed through, and what are the modules? What are some of the modules they've been, activated in?
I think for the first quarter of this year, we exceeded our targets. Every year we send our plans to Parliament for approval.
Right.
We were, I think we wanted to do a little over 70,000.
But a little over 70,000?
Yeah, a little over 70,000.
Within which period?
Year.
Within 2023?
Yes, for the whole year. But I think as at May, we had exceeded, we had reached 82,000. That's the audited numbers that we have. And we are talking about the community protection assistance, that's 15,000. Community health assistance, 6,000. Community police assistance, that's 1,500. And we are still continuing our sanitation model, which we have 45,000. And our association or collaboration with other people from the private sector. One thing that I always say, government alone can't employ everyone. So since I got here, we've tried a lot to link up with the private sector. We have a job center here. So we use our job center to link up with the private sector. So we've had collaborations with Ghana, with Lotto Pay, National Insurance Commission. You heard about our cocoa program. That's the cocoa rehabilitation with Afarinek, and a few others. And in all these, the beneficiary is of utmost importance to the Youth Employment Agency. We make sure that the orientation, the training you get, everything is financed by us. We also make sure that if it's a private company, the company pays you nothing less than 800 cedis.
I see. So that's a rather interesting development. So you're trying to tell me that for the entirety of this year, 2023, your projection was to rope in some 70,000.
Yes.
And by May the 5th month, you had roped in 82,000.
Yes.
Which means that even before the half end of the year, you had overshot your target. What then are your ambitions ahead of? I mean, obviously, if you are overperforming, you cannot now rest on your oars and say, oh, we've overshot it, so we're going to just maintain the status quo. What then is the plan for the rest of the year?
We've met with the board and management. We are putting other programs in place. Currently, we are running the apparel and textile model. And it's an interesting model, my brother. We are selecting 1,500 people to be trained in the dressmaking, tailoring industry. And apart from that, we are, you know, the small tailors and seamstresses in your area. You know them in your area. We are selecting 500 of them also to give them support, 10,000 cedis each. And we will come to the big garments companies, which we are selecting 20, and give between 100 to 200,000 to also support them, for them to train these people for us. One thing that is very critical, if we don't take care, we will lose our artisan industry. You are building, are you building? When I ask you now, you are building. You are using...
I'm renting for now.
Yes. I mean, go all over the country, in towns, new buildings coming up. We have the Togolese taking over. They are doing our POPs for us. They are doing our tiling for us.
Those who are building will quickly tell you that the Togolese are more efficient, more effective,
they are not.
And they are cheaper.
No, they are not.
I'm merely telling you the word on the street. That is what you'll be told.
We just have to enhance the skills of the Ghanaian. We can't lose that sector. That is why the YEA is coming in. We are targeting the tailoring or the dressmaking industry. When we finish, we are coming to the tiling, the mason, because we will not lose that sector. This informal sector, you lose it, then it means that your economy will collapse forever.
But our economy is a very informal economy in the first place.
But I am telling you that, but we can't lose that sector.
I'm merely corroborating what you're saying.
Yes, that and we can't lose that sector.
The formal sector is actually very small.
After giving those people the skills, the needed skills, then we can talk about how we do away with these Togolese. I tell you, what can they do that the Ghanaian can do?
But you know that, I mean, trade-wise, and even in terms of the regional balance and seamless weaving through one country to another country. That's why we've even been talking about the ECHO and having a... just in that same manner, I have so many friends, for example, who are working in the likes of Côte d'Ivoire, Burkina Faso, and the rest. So in a way, I understand what you're saying, but if it shouldn't also be we're going to get rid of all these.
No, I am not saying we are going to get rid of them. But we have when it comes to Thailand, we've lost that sector.
We have
lost that sector. POP, we've lost that sector. But we have Ghanaian masons. We have Ghanaian people who are good when it comes to tiles. Just sharpen their skills. Give them the necessary support. And I tell you, they can do better than
How are you going to deal
people.
with the bit about the cost of labor? Because in the end, business people who are putting up high-rise buildings, the ordinary Joe in this economic situation who is putting up his building will look at the cost. And if it's going to cost him half to employ the Togolese versus the Ghanaian, and the deliverables are practically the same, where do you think that person will put his money? So how will you deal with that?
My brother, I tell you, they don't charge less than we think or we speculate. They also charge a lot. And even the Ghanaian pays taxes. The Togolese, he gets the money, goes to Togo.
But if the Togolese earns it in Ghana, the person should pay taxes too.
But the person doesn't pay. I mean, you know, he takes the money, he takes a car to Togo every day. But I tell you, the Ghanaian doesn't charge much like we are told or meant to believe.
Let's focus.
No, I just want you to
go ahead.
Let's support our people. The Youth Employment Agency is taking that initiative. Skills training and acquisition. We are doing the tailors and dressmaking because the Nigerians are also coming in. If we don't take care, they will take that sector. We will not allow it. We are training people to give them not only the skills but the support.
I see.
And after we are going, we will be training tailors, seamstresses, tilers, and those who make the POP. We just have to take it and make it. I think there should be a national appeal. Let's use our people. Government is doing massive construction. Let me tell you something. When INZAC, last year when I came, we signed an MOU with INZAC. It's a German company constructing the Tema to Akosombo. They came to YEA.
You mean the road?
Yes.
Right.
They came to YEA and we gave them the laborers and everything. And things are going on well. And we gave them the Ghanaians. These are Ghanaians, not Togolese. But we've not gotten any complaints or anything. Our people are working well. Our people are capable. Let's sharpen their skills. Let's believe in them. Let's give them the support. And I tell you, because it's getting scary, I'm telling you. Now everyone wants to wear kaftan. And the Nigerians are coming in. But if we don't sharpen the skills of our tailors, seamstresses, and all these, they will lose the market.
Well, I love kaftans.
And we will have a lot of people, a lot of unemployed, or a lot of people back on the streets as unemployed.
I'll tell you.
And it causes national security threat.
It is. Unemployment is one of the, if not the biggest national security threat we have.
That is where the problem, as a journalist, you should be concerned.
And as a journalist too.
Yes, I am concerned.
You
know, I'm very passionate about it when it comes to unemployment.
In fact,
because I sit here, I see the figures, and I feel sorry. I see the figures, and I think that we have to do more. We have done a little over 80,000 first quarter, but still people are on the streets. It shows that we have to do more, and we have to.
There's a yawning gap you have to fill. I was just going to say that there was a time many years ago when this Nigerian was sewing some of my kaftans for me. Thankfully, well, she's still doing business in Ghana, but of all of those who, sew for me now, they are all Ghanaian. It is not a paucity of the skill in some areas, but sometimes too it is some of the other factors in the economy. But I was just checking out your webpage, and that very bit you're talking about, call for application, garment and apparel training and employment program. You talk about garment and apparel companies, micro and small scale seamstresses and tailors, and beneficiaries. You also say here, for example, beneficiaries must be a Ghanaian youth between the ages of 18 to 35. Basic educational qualification is an advantage. Demonstrable interest in sewing. Desire to pursue a career in mass production. And the deadline is when? 27th June to 10th July. So this is over, right?
And
it's closed for now.
And should I give you the statistics? The number of people?
Please do.
The beneficiaries, I think we had almost 10,000. The big companies, we had 1,500 and something. I think 1,570 or something. The small companies,
SMEs.
the SMEs, outrageous.
They will always be the largest.
Combined in all the three categories, combined, we had 28,000 applicants.
In all categories?
Yes, in all categories.
Just for this model?
Just for this model.
I see.
How
many are you looking at getting?
Okay, so we are doing a first phase. We want to launch it on the 7th of August in Kumasi. The first phase beneficiaries, we are targeting 1,500. The SMEs, we are targeting 500. Those will give 10,000 cedis each. The beneficiaries will be given to them and the big garment companies to train. We have, we will take care of the beneficiaries as they go on with their training for 1 year. We'll be giving them monthly stipends, and after, we will set them up.
How much are the monthly stipends?
It's 500 cedis. 500
cedis?
Yes.
Per person, for example, yes. for these modules, averagely, the training you give them, you say feeding as well, right?
We give them.
Did you add feeding?
For this textile, this model, no feed. But when we camp them, like the community protection assistance,
right?
We camp them, we train them for a certain period before we deploy them to the various police stations. When it comes to the community health, we do the same thing. So when they are camped, we pay for their accommodation, we pay for their feeding and transport also. No matter where you are coming from, all over the country, we just...
Per person, averagely, how much do you spend when you camp them like this, per person?
I have not, but we pay. We pay a lot.
All right. The sanitation module, unfortunately, you will not have Cecilia Abnadapa to work with because she has resigned. But how much of a contribution would you say the YEA has made? One of the foremost policies that we've had has to do with making Accra the cleaner city in Africa. How much of a contribution would you say the YEA has made in terms of your engagement with the sanitation ministry? Ministry for Sanitation and Water Resources.
I think we've not had a better engagement with the sanitation ministry. YEA has been running this model for years now. I think it's one model, I admit, there are one or two challenges, but we are making it better. Okay. We are making it better.
Have you sent any YEA trained people there at any point since you've taken over?
No, I mean, we have beneficiaries of 45,000 all over the country.
Okay. Sweeping
the various streets, principal streets, markets. These are YEA beneficiaries. But the only difference from our traditional models that we run ourselves is that we pay.
Okay.
And I'm happy to tell you that in all the models we've run so far, we don't owe anyone.
Congratulations on that, because
yes.
Usually there's a backlog in many areas.
Yes,
right.
we don't owe. Sanitation is paid by our service provider. I mean, to pre-finance and government will pay. It has been an arrangement. I mean...
where the service provider is?
Zoom Lion.
Zoom Lion. Okay. All right. Just to accelerate the conversation a bit. In terms of funding and logistics, how are you faring? Anytime I engage a state agency like yours, I want to get into the funding and logistics. Some will tell you, look, we're working with the bare bones and doing so much. What is your situation like? Since you are feeding, you are accommodating, you are doing all of this, how are you doing it? What is your funding for 2023, for example?
We get our money from the talk tax.
Talk tax?
Yes. And
okay.
Yes, that's the main funding for the Youth Employment Agency. But over the years, we've received capping, which my almost 1 year stay here, I can tell you that I wish the capping would stop.
Has the capping affected your work?
Yes, it has affected us.
And how much capping has been happening?
I mean, 30%, 40%.
30%?
Yes, 30%, 40%. I mean, the kind of applications we get, applicants we get, go downstairs to our job center. I mean, serious. I wish that YEA will never be capped. I'm telling you. The agency must run models to keep this country going. We must, you see, when somebody gets out of school, SHS, university, I mean, they need a certain level of comfort before they get into the real job sector or industry. And YEA provides that. Yes, we are being capped yearly. I don't know how much will be capped this time around, but it's really affecting us. The capping
you mean
is
ahead
affecting.
of next year? Or
yes, we don't know.
This year?
We don't know, but it's really affecting the Youth Employment Agency. I mean, you look at our models. We pay people 500 cedis every month. Now on our payroll, we have about 25,000. You go to ADB, they will tell you. And we just have to keep paying these people. And if we have the money, we will recruit. If
so
we
25,000 by 500, that's 12.5 million.
Yes, a month.
A month?
Yes.
So let's multiply that by 12, and that will give you 150 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
So that's what you expect to pay to these 25,000
Yes. And you see, this 25,000, these are our traditional model beneficiaries. We are talking about these artisan training. It's not part of this. We are giving 500 companies 10,000 cedis each. The big ones, government companies, we are giving between 100,000 to 200,000 cedis. This is not part of this. So, I mean, YEA, you invest in YEA, you can keep an eye on YEA, you can audit YEA very well because the numbers, the data is there.
Do you feel, I mean, on the back of the numbers, I mean, just this 25,000 people, 500 cedis a month by 12 gives you a whopping 150 million Ghana cedis. Again, I'll go back. What then substantively, what is your budget for this year, for example? How much has come into your kitty? And do you feel hard done by that after all what you're doing and with, of course, you are overshooting your target, this capping and all of that?
I think I can also, I know we are in difficult times. I think I will not shy away from that.
But the capping didn't start today, so...
yes, but I also think that if we get our priorities right, the Youth Employment Agency, employing the youth of this country should be of utmost importance to everyone. It's not only about the government. Even the private sector, our industries, companies, they have to employ our people. And we have to reach out to them. I wouldn't say I've been hard done by the government, but I think we can do. There's room for improvement. Room for improvement. There's room for improvement, and we must improve.
If I had to ask you, I just want you to give me something tangible. It's a bit sketchy for now. If I had to ask you that, look, would you need an extra 50 million Ghana cedis, 100 million Ghana cedis, 200 million Ghana cedis every year? That would also give the powers that be, maybe capping what you get, an idea of how much more is needed. What would you say
every year?
YEA
sends its budget to our mother.
What was your budget for this year? How much were you looking for?
I think 500 million.
About 500 million.
About 500 million.
How much did you get?
We are still.
You're getting it in. I know usually
no, we
it.
Get it in bits.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
But there's one thing I should also commend the government. We are getting it in bits, and it's coming. It's flowing.
The bits are coming.
The bits are coming.
What was the last bit?
I think the last bit was in June.
June.
Yes, the last bit.
About
was
how
in
much
June.
are we looking at?
I think it was substantial. Okay. One is that the overall capping for the yearly allocation. I think we should limit the capping.
We should limit the capping.
And free the YEA. I tell you,
that's an interesting point. Free the YEA.
Free. You know, let the agency employ. Let the agency employ a lot of people. And these people contribute to the development of this country. I mean, these tilers, the masons, people we want to train, we set them up. They become breadwinners and help the economy by paying taxes. Okay. Because let me tell you, the 500 small companies, SMEs we are engaging, we are registering all of them. So they add up to the formal sector Because now GRA can go and tax them when they start working. When they start working.
So you're also contributing to the kitty of the country in terms of revenue. I mean, just this morning we were talking about revenue generation gap compared to our expenses. Now we're looking at 1.8% from the start of the year. But then what has been your collaboration with the CTVET, for example? Because Dr. Fred Cheyasamwa is also doing a fantastic job where he is.
I'm telling you.
How are you collaborating to get the technical skills?
We have an MOU with them. When we have to do any training, they do for us. They prepare the curriculum and all these for us.
Do they conduct all your trainings?
Yes, mostly.
All of them?
Mostly.
Most of them?
Yes.
Right. Let's now turn our gaze to this. Sometimes you look at these programs, employment programs, and one thing that comes to mind, one problem, sustainability. So, Nation Builders Corps, for example, if you recall, if you asked yourself now, where a lot of those who started are, it may be problematic. Sustainability, you give them some skills, you give them some jobs to do, but is this something that can translate long term into a, I don't know whether to say occupation or profession that they can engage in? What is the status quo when it comes to the people
I think
you keep rolling out on your fan belt?
I think I will commend my management and board and our sector minister for this. For example, our community health assistance, we are running the exit strategy. This is the exit strategy. We have 6,000 beneficiaries. Anyone interested in moving into the nursing training schools will be given extra training, and the person will be supported to start schooling. Now, the person has practical experience, will go into school and get the theory. So that is the exit strategy for our community health assistants.
That's interesting, especially on the back of the fact that our nurses are moving in droves. Not just nurses, doctors, and in fact, medical people across the terrain. I have friends in there, so I know very well. So I think that's an important.
So as at last week, we had 2,000 of our beneficiaries. That's from the 6,000. They have bought forms and they want to be supported to move into the nursing training schools. So we are facilitating that. When it comes to the prison assistance, before signing the MOU with the Ghana Prison Service, they said, YEA, if you want us to absorb your people, make sure that those you recruit have artisan skills.
Artisanal skills.
Artisanal skills. So we made sure that it was part of the requirements.
Okay. So that right from the get-go, you would have to qualify before you can be brought on board. And then that would mean you would qualify to roll on. I see.
So that's the exit strategy. I think the biggest one is the Ghana Police.
Okay.
Okay. So our people work with them for 2 years after they are laid off, and it doesn't make sense.
So you're talking about the community protection assistance?
Yeah, the community protection assistance. Right. That doesn't make sense. So we sat down with them. Our people went through the necessary training to be recruited and also deployed by the Ghana Police Service. Now we will give them in-service training. So anytime the Ghana Police Service is doing recruitment, YEA beneficiaries will be given priority because they've stayed with them for 2 years and they've gone through the mill to understand and work
closely with
the police. So these are the exit strategies we have for our models.
All right.
And it's very important to us. We don't want to do this unemployment in circles. No, we don't want to do that.
It's interesting how you're targeting it.
And we are taking the exit strategy very serious.
Before we get into what other plans you would have for the rest of the year, and also cap off, I did say that we'll go back to some of the social issues to wrap. I've not forgotten. But the 500 CDs you're giving, it's a very positive step. You know, recently the NSS upgraded its bid from a little over 500 CDs to a little over 715 CDs, thereabouts. If you do the raw calculations, depending on where someone is coming from, even 700 CDs could be absorbed in transportation alone, not to talk of food and all of that. Are you hoping to do something about the 500 Ghana cedis?
Okay, so last year before I came in, it was 300, 350, and it was increased to 500.
Right. Was it increased right when you came in?
Yes.
After you came in?
Yes, when I came, I increased.
Did you push for that?
Yes, I pushed for the increase of it to 500. I think one thing you should also know, YEA models are district-based.
Okay.
We don't send people outside their districts. So it limits transportation and other things. Just to also make sure that they are comfortable, the stipends they receive, they are able to.
But look, on the back of my brother, on the back of inflation and everything.
My brother, I understand
the
you.
The fares and everything.
My brother,
I'm just asking.
You, but,
so are you pushing for more? Are you pushing for more?
I mean, I tell you, we wish that they could be paid as you are paid at multimedia. But don't you sit in Accra, you think 500 cedis is too small. Go to my village, go to a francho, Akumada francho, where I come from. You give somebody 500 cedis.
Because the dynamics will always be different.
That's why I'm telling you that, yes, 500 cedis is much, but we are wishing and we will continue to pray and hope that it is increased, even doubled for them before the year ends.
Okay.
But we shouldn't also have at the back of our mind that we sit in Accra and we think that 500 cedis is just peanuts. No.
So, Chief here is saying that if it could even be increased to 1,000 Ghana cedis, he would be happy. So the powers that be, if you can pull the strings and make it happen.
The good thing is that
he would be happy.
Anytime we are dealing with a private entity or a private company institution, we make sure that they don't pay our beneficiaries as we pay them.
So they pay them more?
Yes, they pay them for
just like with the national service scheme where private entities pay more.
YEA, if you are collaborating with us as a private entity, you won't pay our beneficiaries less than 800 cedis.
I see.
Yes.
Okay. Then there must be some competition for those also who will get there, which is not a bad thing. What then are your aspirations for the rest of 2023? Already on the front of the numbers, you've gone over 100% more by the half year. What are your expectations for the rest of the year in terms of recruitment, in terms of logistics, in terms of funding, for example? What are you hoping to achieve by end 2023?
I think my expectations are the expectations of the management and board of the Youth Employment Agency. I always say that I am the poster boy, but I'm driven by the team I have.
I see.
They help me, and everything we've achieved so far, getting more than we were expecting. I mean, in numbers wise, recruitment wise, I think that I've had good support, valuable support from management staff and our sector minister. Our expectations are that we will continue to recruit. We will continue to train people. We will continue to give people the needed skills to help this country move forward. This is the agenda of the Youth Employment Agency. Our act enjoins us to create, coordinate, implement, facilitate the creation of jobs for the Ghanaian youth. And this is what we seek to do, and we will do it.
Just for your knowledge, I'm sure you're aware that latest United Nations and also Ghana Statistical Service report showing that if you look at the number of youth who are not in employment, not getting an education, not in training in our country, and you look at the youth balance comparatively, it is stark and it is worrying. You said it, I know it, but you said it. It's a national security concern. I mean, so I can only wish you well on this journey.
I think if there's any other word more than scary, then I will use that word. But it's
frightening.
It's frightening. I think we should be worried. Help the government. Government alone can't employ everyone. Let the private sector also get in. The YEA Job Center seeks to do that. We are reaching out to people. Let's get our people something to do. And it will not only benefit those you call corridors of power, but it will also benefit you. Because when the youth takes a gun, a cutlass and come in, it doesn't matter whether you work for multimedia or you work at YEA.
That is the truth, and that is what we all hope for. just to cap off the conversation, I'm going to some social issues, and we can call this conversation, we can bring it to a wrap. Two quick issues related to your party. You spoke about how frightening the youth unemployment situation is. Some have also found it frightening. Just this morning, interacting with some people on the AM show, some found it frightening that you would find about, well, millions of CDs in a former minister's house, and to the point where $1 million can go missing without so much recognition until it becomes a huge problem. And they feel that, especially as we are trying to get people back in the financial sector to put their money in the bank, this sends a certain wrong signal, because people now start asking, hey, what do people in government know that we don't, for which reason they don't want to put their money in the bank? There's also the Bugri Nabu leaked tape situation about the IGP, which people are calling for more stern investigations. Two quick matters. What is your take on either one as we
So let me tell you.
And I'm asking you because you are a journalist.
Let me tell you, I will not comment on issues before the court of law. I don't want to be cited for contempt.
Which of these are you referencing?
The 1 million issue you just stated is before the court of law. And as a law-abiding citizen, I will not get into this.
The special prosecutor has...
No, I mean the special prosecutor can get his thing, but I know that these issues are in the court of law, and I wouldn't like to comment on it.
I see. But you can confirm that we'll not find $1 million if we...
I don't know. Let the court decide. I respect the laws of this country.
Right.
And I believe that everyone is entitled to seek redress anywhere he or she wants.
I was just saying,
let the court deal with this. I will not answer that question. Any decision by the court will be respected by me.
That is fair, but I'm just saying that in support of our financial system, we wouldn't find $1 million in your home if we came there, would we?
My brother, these are court issues. I'm
not talking about Cecilia Dapa, I'm talking about you.
You are talking about
you.
Me?
Yes.
The question again?
Would we find $1 million at your home if we came round?
I don't have 1 million.
That's all I needed. Okay. And on the Bugri Nabu.
No. I mean, you preempted your question with Cecilia Dapa's own, which I think is a legal.
No, that was what I was referencing.
It's a legal issue. It's a legal issue. Okay. So I want to leave it as such. But
the IGP and the leaked tape.
You can't find 1 million in my room. I wish.
Thankfully. The leaked tape, IGP.
What leaked tape?
The IGP situation. Do you remember that?
Has it been confirmed?
It has. Bugri Nabu has
confirmed.
Yes, he has.
That he said those things.
That those things happened in his residence.
There are laws in this country. Let the laws deal with it. I mean, seriously.
And that's the whole point, because people are saying the law is basically being toothless with this situation, because
my brother,
maybe it leans in a certain direction.
You defame me. You defame me when I send you to the court. Do you know how long it takes? But you, as a journalist, you are happy because it drags for a long time before I can clear my name.
Well, from where I sit, we don't defame.
No, but I am just saying it. I have been in your shoes before. We shouldn't.
I know that is a generic statement.
No, we shouldn't pretend that this holier than our attitude. No. Let's respect the laws of this country. If Bugri Nabu has committed any crime, let the law deal with him. For me, I believe in that. Nobody is above the law, and the president has shown it. All government officials have shown it. Special prosecutor must do his work.
All right.
The laws must work. And at the long run, you journalists, you can't say that this thing is dragging. When you defame people, do you know how long it takes for the court to clear the person? And do you know the damage you would have caused?
All those damages, interestingly, are taken into context. As a student of the law, I'm fully aware of that. But thank you very much for joining us for this conversation. He is Chief Executive Officer of the Youth Employment Agency, and in fact, quite a bit of work he's doing here. He's in the person of Mr. Kofi Agyapong. Mr. Agyapong, we started off with a handshake. All right. Thank you for hosting us, and we wish you the very best. Maybe when I come back here at the close of year or at the start of another year, God willing, you remain at post, we would have better to talk about in terms of the numbers you are putting up.
I mean, and I'm excited to have you here and also your team. I say thank you. We just have to sell the good news. It's not always about the bad news. We are doing a lot, giving people jobs, giving people food to eat. And it's the most exciting news I think that the media should be proud of. And
it's so exciting that we came here today.
But I think that you've done well, and I appreciate Multimedia for this wonderful gesture to help the YEA sell our news. It's not only about the YEA, but it's giving hope to people that there's a state agency like the Youth Employment Agency that is ready or that is reaching out to them. It may not be their turn today, but tomorrow it will be in their turn. And now we are doing marvelous. We are increasing our numbers. I tell you, by the end of this year, we will add up. We will set an unprecedented record. And I always tell you, the data is there for us to, look at it. You go to our bankers, ADB, they will tell you the number of people we pay every month. We don't owe beneficiaries. The world is in crisis. Economies are collapsing. Look at what is happening to the UK. Yes, you tell me that people are rushing to the UK, but I can also tell you that the UK is in crisis. US is in crisis. But if the government can support them, support YEA to provide jobs for our people in an unprecedented manner, like the YEA, the Youth Employment Agency is doing, my brother, we are blessed.
I think the way we've ended the conversation only tells me that we have to have a second conversation, maybe sometime down the road in this year. But it's been exciting, and for you out there doing the watching, we're grateful that you've taken the time to join us. Thank you.